guess. Sorry that your friend passed, man. Anyway, yeah, back to this. It sounds like everything you say just reinforces force doctrine.
When I was talking about universal understanding, because you were saying like, oh, in a lot of countries, women don't have rights.
Continue.
I was saying that if you suddenly gave everyone the right to vote in a lot of these countries where women don't have rights, then maybe women would not be as oppressed.
Wait, say that again? I want to make sure I got that right.
We were talking about universal understandings and like morals, right?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned like, oh, well, in a lot of countries, like majority of countries, women don't have rights. And I said, well, that has a lot to do with the fact that those countries are undemocratic and controlled by men.
Yeah.
If they suddenly were democratic, that would change. Based on the fact that most people would look out more for women, which is a universal understanding.
Who would have to make them democratic?
What I'm trying to prove right now at this point is that there's a concept of universal understandings and morals.
There's not. Otherwise, why don't we all have the same ones?
Do you notice how like across religions, there's often like certain values that are preached, that there's like similarities there?
Sure.
Across cultures, there's similarities in what people will believe. And like in different countries, there's like commonalities of certain laws that'll be passed. That's what I'm calling universal understandings and morality.
Okay, that's great, but these aren't shared concepts, though.
Yeah. But there's I just gave an example of like how they can be shared across so many people, and you said like, yeah, cool. I agree with you, but I actually disagree with you.
Yeah, no, I'm just disagreeing with you. But
you just said,
Yeah, I agree with you that it is true that you could make the argument that there's some shared concepts of morality across people groups.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, cool.
But really quick. But it doesn't matter because all people groups don't share morals. So.
And I'm saying based on those commonalities, that's what rights are often grounded in.
Those commonalities can change based on the preferences of people groups. What is universally accepted good behavior now was not 300 years ago. Example, if that guy pissed me off 300 years ago, I could challenge him to a duel.
I think they're relatively unchanging.
If that guy pissed me off 300 years ago, I could challenge him to a duel, go outside, he would take his top hat off, we both pull out guns, try to blow each other's fucking brains out. Now, is that a universal moral right now? No, it's fucking not. So the thing is like, look, universal preferences change constantly, or I could challenge him to a duel. Yeah, constantly.
You said, what did you say, 300 years
constantly.
ago?
Women voting is brand new. Yeah. That never happened before. That's not even a thing that ever really happened.
Well, when I'm saying...
No. What you're saying is absurd.
Not really.
Universal constants for morals change constantly. They're not unchanging. Not only are they not unchanging, we can 100% expect that the intuitions of people in the next 100 years are going to drastically change.
And I don't think that invalidates
Hold that thought for just a moment. Hold the thought. We need to do a cheers for wisdom. Cheers to Corporal Maya. Sorry about your friend.
And cheers to the good conversations tonight.
And cheers to the convo. Salut. Salut.
Ooh.
So I guess maybe we can finish.
Yeah, no, I was just saying at a given point in time. Forget like 300 years ago, because I think just because
I'll tell you what, I'll just go ahead and grant everything that you're saying. Does any of that in any way refute force doctrine?
I think it draws like, I mean, this is a little more prescriptive. I'm aware of that, but it draws like where I would, like how I would give rights into something that's also moral.
And who would you have
give
those rights and enforce them?
Humans in general.
Oh, you'd have humans in general do it? And what if?
What do you mean?
What if men didn't like the rights that you were prescribing?
I'm talking about, in like a democratic country.
In
like
a democratic
America.
country, what happens if men don't like the rights?
You think I think we live in a system in this country set up today that's able to control that kind of thing.
And can the system fail? And can men collectively use action in order to take the system back with that pesky thing called the Second Amendment?
That's a pretty drawn out hypothetical, I think.
Is it? Because this whole nation was founded in doing just that.
So you think today that it's possible that men could just collectivize and just overthrow women
100% they could and can, and always have been able to.
The government's designed in such a way that wouldn't allow for that.
So the United States is going to last forever?
I think it's going to last a pretty long time. I don't think...
Forever?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, no.
You think
the world ends?
No, of course not.
You think...
Men can't... Listen, force doctrine is saying this. Men can collectivize whenever they want to take the rights away from women. And I'm sorry that there's a lot of women who are just rationally don't understand that that's the case. Hang on. Let me just finish what it is, and then you can attack it. But let me at least get it out. Okay? Women can't appeal to that same thing. They cannot collectively take rights away from men. They can't, and they've never done it once anywhere in human history have I ever found women collectivizing and using force to take rights from men. Since that's the case, they're always appealing to men for those rights. I don't know a way around that. And every example you give, seemingly to me, just confirms that that's the case. Wait, what about democracy? We have a democracy. You have a democracy because men enforce the democracy. And the second men don't enforce the democracy, into the fucking cages you go.
So my whole qualm with that idea is purely that it it draws legitimacy from strength, and it doesn't really take into account
It's not making it legitimate.
Regard for
Don't
just
you
a
understand?
person's
It's
humanity.
descriptive.
Here's the word.
Sure, okay.
It's a word concept fallacy, right? So hang on.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
If your whole argument or idea with force doctrine is purely men can physically overpower women at any point, yeah, they can.
Nope, that's not the argument. The argument is that they can collectively enforce their will, and women can't with force. That's what it means. And so
That's kind of synonymous with what I said.
it's not, because men, you missed this part. Women will always have to appeal to men, and men will never have to appeal to women for their rights. Men can change the conditionals of their own rights with force, and women have to appeal to men, change rights for them. So therefore, women will always have to appeal to men for their rights. And if men collectively say you ain't got none, you don't. And if women collectively say men don't, we do.
But you want to know why that kind of thing doesn't happen today? It's because people don't
It happens
think...
all over the world. What are you talking about? Like, most of the world, this is what happens.
Okay, for example, in this country, the reason that doesn't happen today is because in a lot of more countries such as this one, there's some sort of regard for humanity and morality and a more advanced way of thinking.
That's also you appealing to men being benevolent and moral. Did you know that? You see, where you're making the same argument that I make. Men must really be benevolent, because what you're appealing to right now is that there's such a sense of morality in society that men will never grab all the fucking women off the street and put them in cattle carts and send them to breeding camps, even though they could. That sure seems awful fucking nice of men.
But you know why they don't?
That sure seems really
sorry, can I
fucking
jump in
benevolent
here?
of men.
I don't think that that's benevolent. I think that's the lowest bar of human decency, that they're not keeping slaves.
You know what's really funny about that argument? A woman said this to me once, and I thought about it for a second, and I realized something really important, right? That when you have power over the most vulnerable in society, in this case, children, you fucking abort them. And so the thing is, I do think that we're pretty benevolent. I think that 1.5 million aborted babies a year is pretty fucking malevolent. And I think that
I would disagree.
I think that when you have the power over life and death, you fucking kill. And when we have the power, and we do, collectively over life and death, we liberate. And I do think that that's benevolent, and I think that that's part of men's nature. And I do think that you have to appeal to us for all of your rights, and that what you guys always think is just fucking fantasy, and I don't understand it at all.
Do you think humans should have the obligation to have human decency though?
From a Christian worldview? Yes, I appeal to Christ Jesus, and I do think that that God gives commands in which that we're supposed to engage with the world. And I think men follow those commands, and that's one of the reasons men are so benevolent.
Would you agree that there's a lot of different people with a lot of different worldviews who would also believe in the idea of human decency?
Yeah, well, I guess all you'd need to really show me is all this human decency in the rest of the world, because outside of Christian nations, I don't really see it.
I hope we agree that...
Hang on. Outside of Christian nations, I don't see any of this supposed benevolence and this supposed universalization. I see the opposite. Outside of Christian nations, what I see is subjugation and torture and madness and insanity and fucking, that's what I see. I don't know what you see outside of Christian, but that's what I see.
So I think we could both agree that human decency should be taken into account.
Well, I think that what makes humans decent is Christianity. And I think that
I'm not Christian, and I
know, and that's why the justification that you give for all of your rights is preference, which gives me the equal right based on my preference to take your rights away. That's what's insane.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can I ask, if 51% of the world right now said we should keep all women as slaves, right? Does that doesn't make it moral in your mind, right?
No.
Because you don't think it's preference. Do you base your...
No.
Okay.
I don't think it's moral, because in Christian ethics, the enslavement of another human being is abhorrent.
Yes.
In Christian ethics, the subjugation of women is abhorrent.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that there's not a hierarchical and patriarchal structure, and that in a marriage, a woman is supposed to submit to the head. I do believe that fully.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that I believe for a second that men have any conceptualization of Christian ethics that they can abuse or harm or do horrible things to women. That's way beyond the pale of Christian ethics.
Okay.
The criticism of force doctrine is showing you guys your view. That just under pure preference, if it's the case that morals are just all preference, then if men decide and they prefer one day that you're just fucking chattel, there to breed our kids, and there's nothing you can do about it, and they all prefer that collectively, you may not like that, but you don't really have a justification to do anything about it, because your entire justification for why they shouldn't is just that you fucking prefer that they don't.
Human decency.
Well,
That's just a
universal
preference.
understanding.
I never made the claim that morals are preference. I was not a part
Then
of that
where do you
conversation.
then justify your morality?
In my opinion, it's about the best for society, and I don't think there's any objectivism to that. I don't think that we can objectively say this is what will lead to the best outcome
Then
for
it's
our
just
society.
preference.
No, it's not. It's based on education. It's based on knowledge. It is in part, I guess.
And it's your preference that we should value those things.
yeah, I guess the smallest percentage of
Not the smallest percentage.
You literally agreed with me earlier that there's a concept of universal understanding.
Everything that you are saying right now that we should value, your only justification for why we should value it is because you prefer it.
Okay, so if in a hypothetical world, if the Bible said that murder was okay, would you personally believe that murder is okay?
No.
Okay.
Well, but
So-
here's why.
Sure.
No, keep going.
Yeah, here's why. So I have a different form of epistemology, right? Well, okay, I'll reframe the words. Where I draw knowledge, okay? So I think the truth is written on your heart. These are the universals that we're agreeing to. I think that the truth of morality is written on people's hearts, as the Bible says it is, okay? The problem is when people say, no, it's not. It's actually grounded in preference. And you can't say it's grounded in the heart unless you believe in God. And so if that's the case, it's like, well, then if it's just preference, then the only thing Muslims are doing wrong in their country by outlawing feminism, right, and doing all the subjugation, doing all the shit that you don't like, is just that you don't prefer it. If you can give me a reason why, other than I just don't prefer that they do that, and people agree with me, then I actually want to hear it.
I think it is overall harmful for the society.
But that's just preference again. Harm is a subjective metric based on your preference.
So you don't think that harm can be quantified?
No. How could it be?
You don't think that you could ever objectively say something is more harmful
Harm
than something
itself
else?
is subjective. The idea of what is harm is subjective.
There is gray area, but I do think that there are some pretty clear cases where I could say this is more harmful than this thing.
Well,
No,
yeah, I have
no,
an
you
example.
wait, no. Other than grounding that in your preference, you actually can't.
You can't.
Not necessarily.
You
no.
can't.
Okay,
in a country
I'm
where
sorry.
young girls are forced to marry men who are far older than them and are forced to do things in that.
Do you
marriage.
prefer
That's
that
kinda
they
bad.
don't do that?
Well, I'd say there's some sort of objective harm there because they have no agency.
Wait, objective harm? I'm going to tell you the difference between objective and subjective. Objective, okay? That means
Universally understood,
no,
commonly understood,
no,
or regarded as
no. Objective means
Yes.
not dependent on a mind. Subjective means dependent on a mind.
How about I say universally regarded or deemed or understood?
You can say what? Yeah, you can
then I'll
say
say
that
that.
your preferences are universally regarded.
But usually
Sure.
when a whole
Sure.
when a lot of people collectively, okay, you can continue actually.
Well, no, I agree that you can say that you have universally shared preferences with people. I agree with that. But so what? Still preference. You're just, all you guys are doing is just consistently asserting the same thing over and over.
I'll use the word universal instead of objective.
Universal preferences, though? What else would they be?
I just don't think that these are preferences.
How could they be anything but preferences?
What do you think that a society's goal is? To what?
I think from your view...
No, from your view,
Well,
please.
my view is that I would want to institute a social goal where people are moving towards Christ Jesus. But from your view, society has no fucking goal. What is the goal other than what you prefer?
For its citizens to be happy,
That's
healthy.
a preference. Preference. Those are
Okay.
things you prefer.
Those are things that I prefer.
Tell me an independent reason other than you and your preference why those are good things.
You'd prefer Jesus Christ is in everyone's life. That's a preference.
So my preferences again? So it's
I'm
just
sorry?
what I prefer again? So if it's just my preferences versus your preferences...
Well, what I'm saying is that you can't claim that morality should be based off the Bible and not our preferences.
I'm not making the claim that it should.
Well, you're saying that yours should be, but ours shouldn't be based off of our
Let's
preferences.
just say for a second, that I agree. Me wanting to institute like biblical values is just a preference. Okay. So what have we established now?
What I'm saying
what have we
here is that
established
if you
now?
personally are basing your morals off of the Bible, right?
Sure.
Those are your preferences.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
If you
and
think
yours
that is
are,
valid,
and yours are.
what I'm saying is,
And yours are. If
in
mine
my
are
opinion, not my
preferences.
preferences, but by
How-
your
how
definition,
could they not be your
by
preferences?
your definition, we're both going off preferences. So why are mine less valid than yours? Even
They're
if I don't
not.
believe that.
That's the beautiful thing. They're not. So if it's the case that a bunch of people share the same collective intuition that I do in my preference to fucking enslave all women, then tell me why they're wrong.
What? Because it is.
Hang on. I want you to listen to what I just said.
Yes.
If you got a preference, and I got a preference, and she got a preference, and her got a preference, is her preference better than yours?
I think that preferences can be harmful for society
That's
or
nice.
better
That's
for
nice.
society.
That's not my. Repeat my question.
Are her
Repeat my-
preferences better than mine?
Are they?
I truly do believe some preferences are better than others. Yes.
Is that your preference?
You love this word. I don't think it actually means anything. Like, it can be a preference. Okay, sure.
It's things which you prefer.
Sure, honestly, let's meet in the middle ground. It's a preference. Why does that make it any less valid? Preferences are important.
Totally agree.
And some are more
Totally
valid
agree.
than others.
That is awesome. So then it is the case then that if we all just have preferences.
No, some are more valid than others.
Okay, what makes them that other than your preference?
I do not think the betterment of society is a preference.
Well, okay, what else is it?
What do you
They're
mean?
just concepts.
Okay, here's what I mean. And I'll hang on. Here's what I mean.
Yes.
What else could what you want for society being more valuable than what he wants be anything other than a preference? That's what I mean.
Okay, if he wants the downfall for society and I want society to thrive.
Yeah.
I personally do think
Your
that the
preference
option.
is I personally think sounds like a preference.
It's just sounding like,
Wait,
from
let
my
her-
point of
let her
view, the
finish, let
Jedi
her
are
finish.
evil.
Sounds a lot like what I prefer.
What I'm saying to you is that you are more than welcome to call it a preference. I honestly don't care. But
I know that my question is, what else is it?
if it's not a preference, I do believe that genuinely the goal of society, it's not a preference, but like our goal is to, it's like the way that human nature
What is a
works.
goal?
Or just nature.
What is
Let's
a-
use any other
is a
animal.
goal a movement
no,
towards
Let's
things you
discuss
prefer?
any other species.
Okay.
They exist because they procreate, because they have the goal to survive, because they eat, because they hunt. We all have that goal instilled in us, not because we grew up and decided this is who we are and this is what we prefer. It's because it is human nature, it's biological nature. You want your society to succeed, you want to procreate, you want to be healthy, you want to eat.
Okay, so help me out here.
Yes.
So it's part of human nature that we want to eat.
Yes.
We want to shit.
Yep.
We want to collectivize. We
Yep,
want to
sure.
do all of those things, right?
Yes.
Is it also violence part of human nature?
I think it is more taught than anything. I would like obviously to some degree, yes.
Yeah.
But I do think that
So
violence
if
in the
men
way that-
collectivize in order to utilize violence to throw all women in little cages to do whatever they want, make them their little playthings, can you tell me outside of why you don't prefer that and a collective of people who agree with you who don't prefer that, that's actually wrong? Or
So we've agreed that have we agreed at this point that it is biological human nature to want to survive, to want the betterment for your society?
yeah, but okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is bad for society.
So what? That's me stating, like, let's say I'm hardwired to drink this beer.
Sure.
Right? I'm
I bet you
hardwired
are.
to because it's fucking delicious, okay? And my Irish heritage demandeth it, okay? So I must drink the beer. And then I don't. I just don't. I just decide, yeah, I don't want to do that, okay? Did I do something wrong?
No.
Okay, so I can go against my nature and I'm not doing anything.
Are you-
Hang on.
Yes.
I can go against my nature and I'm not doing anything wrong.
Are you biologically engineered as a species?
You
and a
just said if I
collective-
was biologically
We are-
engineered to drink the beer and chose not to, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Okay. I do not think that the beer it has no positive enforcement on anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hold weight.
Yeah, but
If
positive
something
enforcement's
improved-
just preference again.
No, we have agreed. No.
You've agreed
met
on
a
your
middle ground.
preferences.
You and I agreed on a middle ground that biologically it is not preference. We are instilled with the desire for our societies
So,
to.
what
Yes.
if we no longer prefer to do what we biologically desire?
I think that's negative. I think that's a bad thing.
Or do-
because I don't think that preference is. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Wait. So if
Sure.
men biologically desire to subjugate women, it's not a bad thing to do?
No, oh my God. I'm saying that biologically,
Yeah.
which that isn't true, right? Do you think that's true? Do you think that biologically men are, their societies and collectives are improved if they
I think you can make an
subjugate
evolutionary
women?
argument that men are definitely biologically wired to subjugate women.
I don't think so. I think that, like, a great example is the fact that the countries that we see thriving the most are the ones with closer to equal rights.
Well, you see, when you see the word thrive, you know what you mean by that?
Yeah, bud?
What do you think you mean by thrive?
What do you think I mean?
That people who have your shared preferences are doing good according to your preferences.
Okay, I really do hate to come back to this point.
I can't wait till you do.
We've agreed.
Yeah.
We've come to the conclusion together as a
Yeah.
family that the goal of human nature
Yeah.
is to survive.
No. Wait. Me saying there's a nature that humanity has, and you saying goal, those have to
Okay.
be separated.
I'm more than
What if
happy
my
to change my
goal?
wording. I
What if
understand where
my
you're coming from.
goal is to change human nature?
I can understand this. Okay, so I will change my wording there.
Okay.
Humanity has a biological instinct, right, to survive, to be healthy, and I would argue now at the level of, I guess that this can't be explained by like nature and other animals and species because we have more complex brains, but
And we follow what in them? The things we prefer.
I don't necessarily think that
Well,
everything
all of
comes
those-
back to our preferences.
Here's the thing.
Is it
I
your
don't-
preference to be healthy?
Well, what if it wasn't?
It wouldn't matter because I think that your preferences come before or come after
What?
our biological need to survive.
What?
I think our biological need to
if I
survive comes before
If I
our
want to
preferences.
unalive myself, if I'm like in horrible, ghastly pain,
Yes.
you agree with me? My instinct is to survive.
Yes.
Should I go against that instinct?
No, I think that your biological instincts come first.
So if I have like a terminal illness,
Yes.
and they say, look, man, this is going to eat you from the inside out, and you're going to be punished for the next 3 years and just tortured horribly by this illness, or we can give you this shot of morphine, right? My biological instinct is that I want to survive, but I go ahead and go against that nature because I don't want to be in pain anymore.
Well, it's also a
So-
biological instinct to avoid pain,
Yeah,
and you
but
know
it-
that you're not going to survive past
but
that. You know you're not going to live
which
a life
one
out of
takes
pain.
precedent except the one you prefer?
I can't control what decision any person makes. I think that in that
Okay.
situation, I'd probably kill myself
Let's
too.
try this way.
Sure.
Okay. When people collect, do you believe that there's some objective standard for morality?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to regret saying yes.
That means that you believe that morality is not based on people's minds, but it exists absent people's minds. That's what objective means. Subjective would mean that it's based only on people's minds. Do you think morality is based on people's minds and their brains and what they think? Or do you think that it exists somewhere outside of that?
Okay, we've now reached the point where you're defining subjective as anything that isn't a natural fact. Are we on the same page as that?
No.
I'm genuinely asking.
No, I'm defining objective as objective not requiring mind. Subjective, right, requires mind.
Can I have an example of something that's objective and also not a natural
A
fact?
tree.
That is a natural fact.
Yeah, but that's not what I said. Think about what I'm saying to you.
I'm thinking
Does
real
a
hard.
tree existing require any minds?
No.
Then a tree objectively exists.
It is a natural fact that it exists.
Hang on. So that's objective. It objectively exists.
Yeah.
Do morals exist like the tree exists?
No.
Then they're subjective.
No. Okay.
Then they're subjective.
Do you understand the... Yep. Do you understand
Are they
the
subjective
confusion
then?
between the
Hang on.
facts?
Are they subjective then?
I don't think so. I don't think that proves anything.
Then can you tell me how they exist like the tree exists?
I don't think it has to exist like a tree. That's a weird example.
Only if you want subjective. Then don't say objective then.
My claim is that there is a middle ground between between natural fact and subjective. You cannot give me a single thing that isn't a natural fact or subjective. Is that true?
How do you know something's a natural fact?
Based in science.
And how do you interpret science? Is it with your mind?
Sure.
Okay, so then this thing that you've interpreted subjectively, you can determine is objectively real, even if you don't exist, right?
Yes. which makes it
Okay,
a
well then
natural
what the
fact.
fuck are you talking about?
I don't agree with your definition of objective and subjective.
May I please
Then what the
weigh in
fuck
on
does
this?
what do you think subjective
You're just describing,
means?
you are using objective synonymous with the words natural fact, natural law, something based in science.
Not natural law and not natural fact. When you first of all, when I say objective, I mean it exists in material reality without your mind.
Okay.
Okay, so a social construction, does that require your mind? Hang on. Does a social construction require
Yes.
your mind? Is the government a social construction?
Yes.
Okay, is the school a social construction?
Yes.
Is a tree a social construction?
No.
Then that's the end of the fucking debate.
Okay, so
Then I used the terms right, didn't I?
Well,
Hang
I'm
on.
just happy-
Then I used the terms right, didn't I? Didn't I?
we disagree on the definitions.
How can we
By
disagree
your
on a definition you just agreed
By
to?
your definition. By your definition, I am more than happy to agree that
It's like punishment.
What were we even talking about?
Go ahead. It's like go
whatever
ahead.
we were talking about was
May-
subjective.
Maybe can I help here? So Andrew, as it relates to preferences, preferences.
Oh, preferences.
What, in your view, is the step beyond? Is it
Justification outside of preference, which means there's an objective standard that you appeal to that's not you, right? And that's the grounding foundation for which you're appealing to. So like earlier, she said the law, right? That's a subjective standard, but she's appealing to something. I just think that anything that you appeal to for rights is just going to be things you prefer. And I think that collectively it's going to be things other people prefer, and that those preferences can change. And since those preferences can change, if it's the case that I have a preference to do bad thing, you have a preference to do good thing, why am I wrong and you're right?
We've been over this. You've
Yeah, I
asked me
know.
this exact question worded differently.
But I just want to let you know that you never answered it.
I did. We have been over my entire take that I think that we are biologically instilled for the betterment of society. That's what we're striving for. It is, just how.
What if we don't
species
want to
work.
go? What if we have shared preferences against things that are we have biology for? Like for instance,
I think
birth
that's
control.
bad.
Birth control is bad.
No, what?
Yeah, so I mean, you have
No, we aren't-
biologically you're wired to drop eggs. Should we stop that?
do you think that we
should
cur-
we stop that?
Do you think that we
Is that because
currently-
you have a preference that we don't stop that?
Would you like for me to respond,
Well,
or do you
I
just
mean,
want to keep going?
You're just going to ramble, but go ahead. I do
I'm
want to
going
actually hear
rambling.
it. I do want to actually hear
what
it.
I would like to say is I don't think that we as a society are currently in a position where we have to procreate for our survival. I think if we were, then birth control probably would be bad because it would mean like the extinction of our society or whatever.
Oh my God, I
Yeah, bud?
love you. The birth rate, can you tell me if we're reproducing at a rate to sustain society?
That's just not something I know. I would guess so.
What would you like for me to tell you?
I would love it.
We are way under replacement rate, and humans are not replacing. So by your logic, we should get rid of birth
Are we
control
going to go extinct?
until we get at least, yes, South Korea will be extinct. Their birth rate is so fucking low.
Are we talking about South Korea?
Hang on. The United States is dropping rapidly too. And so the thing is like, yes, actually, we could lead to a massive reduction in human beings. So if that's the case, if you say we have trouble reproducing, no, that's why we don't need birth control, then that would mean we should get rid of birth control, right?
Wait, aren't there countries that are very much reproducing a
Not
lot?
very many.
Like
There's
China,
a few.
India.
No, China's
They're going down?
They're
going
not
down.
the ones with the values that you guys are debating.
Isn't China
Right.
It's true.
trying to go
Right.
down?
Well, China killed like half its children
Yeah, I do.
with the one-child policy.
To
Well,
your
I killed a lot
dystopian
more.
effect, I could see this actually becoming a thing where men take away women's rights who are deciding to do the fuck men trend, and that will lead to less babies being born if they're like, ban men suck, fuck them. Be like,
So then,
be lesbian,
if that's
be
biologically
whatever,
what your
amen.
imperative is, then we should go against that, right?
Well, no, because I'm not agreeing with her, but I am saying by your logic, you have to.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I can simplify this like the simplest way possible.
Like you're talking to 4-year-olds.
Does morality come from anything but you?
I mean, it's often
No,
taught.
because morality is subjective, therefore it only exists within the mind.
Then what else could it be? What else could, if it's subjective, what else could be moral except things that you prefer and other people share a preference for?
This is going back in circles. Do you realize what I'm going to answer this with and how we're going to go back to the
That
same
humans are
conversation?
engineered.
We have had this conversation.
But even
20
if they're
times now.
engineered and we can go against our engineering with preference, that would still be moral under this subjective worldview. So like, I don't get it. I actually don't get it at this point. It just seems like, remember how we were talking about good faith?
Yes.
Like, you should really abandon this position because it's completely fucking incoherent. Ultimately, you're just talking about preferences, things
No.
you prefer.
A preference is not something that is biologically engineered into you.
Should we do everything that's biologically engineered in us?
No, but my point is,
Well, then what are you talking about? Who cares then? You're saying that you should follow preferences to not do things that we're biologically engineered to do?
I think we're more complex than saying we're animals who need to follow our baseline instincts.
We don't have to follow baseline instincts, but how can if morality only comes from you, what else could it be besides shit that you just like and prefer? What else could it even be?
Things that are biologically instilled in us.
That we can go against, and that's fine.
Yeah,
The only biological thing is really what's good for you and your family. Okay, now
Those
we
are
call that
things you prefer.
society because we have gotten to the point where we no longer have tribes. We have big-ass countries. So now we call it society because it's huge. But it's still what is good for me if you're in power and you decide that. That's the only thing that matters. What is good for that particular person who holds the power.
I disagree with that. That is not my view at all.
By matter, it means that's what's going to happen. Not matter what's the ideal, what's the utopia, it's what's reality.
Yeah, I'm not arguing in idealistic terms.
Okay.
The arguments against Andrew's position are like how the world should be, which is subjective, right? He's talking about reality, what is, which is objective. Is kind of the
So the idea here is like, it's pretty simple. All of your morality, if you say it's subjectively based, the only real coherent answer you can have is that like things you prefer and things that she prefers and she prefers collectively are moral because you all prefer them. The problem, and here's why that has to be the case. It has to be the case because otherwise you have to give me a standard that's unchanging, that's objective, that you can appeal to, that would say that whatever you prefer to do is wrong. And you can't. So it has to be things that you just fucking like. I mean, what else? I don't know what else your morals could be.
You know exactly what I will answer this way.
Yeah, but you saying that you're engineered to do things that if you prefer to go against is still moral, is still preference again. It's always just a reduction to preference.
If I don't
I have to move on,
right.
but I'll give you guys each another 30 seconds.
My final thought is just if I don't prefer the betterment of society and I personally prefer for 30 people to die, I think that's negative.
See,
I don't understand why you're disagreeing with that.
This is fantastic. I think that if X happens, that's negative because I think so. I see. You don't prefer any of that. Got it.